Now that is just so easy, and it's on. That is genuinely so much easier to pump up as well. It just flows, no problem. I'm back, I've just had my 30th. If you're not new to this channel, got a haircut as well. But today, I want to talk to you about these very little tiny things right here. These are the Clik valve. Now, full disclosure, I have been sent these for free by Clik to test them out and show to you, but I've been playing around with these for the last week and I want to show you how they work. I'll be linking the specific chapters and stuff below, so if you want to skip ahead to anything, feel free to click down there. But first of all, why would you want to replace your presto valve core in the first place? Well, first of all, the why. And they have three reasons. They wanted something that was simpler and easier to use, something that had a higher rate of airflow than the old presto valves, and something that just makes your day-to-day life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you up close how to install these things, extremely easy, what kind of different packages you can get, and then do they work with other things, like such as do they work with a common presto head on a pump? Do they work with out on the road portable CO2 inflators and stuff like that? So I'm going to try and test them all out today for you. First of all, let's see what you get. Everything that I'm showing here can be bought individually, but if you buy the tubeless valve and pump head set, I'll put a link up on the screen now so you can see the price, then you get absolutely everything with it. So you get some tubeless valves. If you do like using dust caps, which I know most people don't, they do have some dust cap options for you there. Then you get the 2-in-1 pump kit adapter. So there's two ways that you can use this. First of all, you can attach it to your previous pump. All you need is a straight ahead, so you unscrew it there and that links onto your pump. So once you've unscrewed that, you can then start to screw it into, like I said, the Schrader side, not the presto side, and then you do need to lock that in and you're ready to go and use it as normal. Then if you do want to replace that whole thing, you think you've used them and you're never going back, you can put the whole thing onto your pump head there. You've got the instructions in here, you simply cut it, thread the new piece on there, and if you need the spacers and adapters depending on your hose size, they've got them there, and a couple of spare rubber bits. I might do this later in the video. But to show you the actual valve core themselves, so this is a normal tubeless valve stem, the core literally simply screws in and out. I'm going to be setting these ones up on my time trial wheels because I run tubeless on there, but let's set up some normal wheels with some normal in the tubes first. Now, if you watched my previous video, you'll know that I like to run TPU inner tubes. Right now have a removable core version, so you can just remove the core of any tube and replace them with your Clik valves. Old one out, and then we get our new pieces in. Now you don't need the valve core for this. All you have to do is simply thread it in, and I use my finger as basically a torque wrench. So I tie it up snug and that's it. Once my finger starts to slip, that's more than tight enough. As I showed you in the intro, we can now pump this up. Now if I zoom in here for you, it does make the whole valve slightly longer. If that would normally rest about there, you can see that there is a few, well, probably like almost like 4 or 5 mil extra length on there. We're thinking about doing the dust caps. You see the dust caps have these shanks on the side, and basically they slot on there, and then you can unscrew your valve from there. And these fit much better than this piece fits on. So I'd recommend using the valve caps if your fingers aren't quite strong enough to get a snug seal on there. All right, let's try and give this pump head change a go. This is a very old pump that I haven't used for a long time, so I don't mind chopping it if I need to. Unscrew. All right, I guess we pull that out. All right, I think we're gonna need the ferrule for this one. So I've no idea how, but I've lost the footage here, so I'm gonna overlay this quick screenshot. Effectively, it's just doing in reverse of what I've just showed you about taking the old piece off and putting the new piece on. I think if you can commit to this solution, it is better, it is lighter, and it does feel easier to click on and click off than it does with the other pump head. Also, if you're wondering how I got these pink valves black, someone said to put some heat shrink around the pink, and that looks a lot better. In my previous video where I talk about TPU tubes 2.0, that are these ones here. Alrighty, so we've got the Clik valves on our wheels. I really like using them so far. The question is, are they backwards compatible with a normal Presta pump head? Not only that, is it compatible with your kind of mini CO2 inflator that I've got here? So I've got a press on one and I've got a thread on one here. And then finally, does it work with an electric mini pump as well? That I would like to know. I've just come to test the normal pump head and I thought, oh, how am I gonna let this down? And I'm just gonna unscrew it a little bit and just let the air out slowly. Okay, let's give it a try. Squeeze you on there. Okay, the Presto did go on, lock you down. All right, one thing I haven't seen is the pressure hasn't come onto the gauge here. Okay. Oh, it's gone onto it now. So if I tilt you down, you can see there that the pressure has attached onto the gauge. If I pump it up a bit more. Okay, that works. Well, backwards compatible with a regular Presta head pump there. Now, normally CO2 can seat a tubeless tyre, so I've put my racing tyre back onto here and we'll see if both of these can individually seat them. I'm going to go for the thread-on one first because I feel like this has the best chance. Once again, I should have tested that beforehand because it literally will not press onto the Clik valve there. So maybe not an option. Before I break the CO2 on this one, let's see if I can at least get it on there. Okay, it kind of goes, stop my fingies from getting cold. Well, in my eyes, that was a great success. Okay. The press-on ones, it seems, are a-okay. Okay, I've deflated the tyre one more time. Final test, electric mini pump. I'm going to be going for 70 psi on there. And we've hit 70. Phew, that's actually got very hot. Cyc Plus electric mini pump, success. All right, here's what I've taken away from that little test. It seems as a whole, the answer is yes, it seems to be backward compatible, apart from the thread-on head here. So if you have a thread-on head, maybe it might not work. I'm in the editing booth right now, and this little guy right here, it turns out he will go into a lot more than just the Schrader head adapters on your pump. This will also go onto the threaded CO2 breakers. Like I said, I've linked those videos down below if you want to check them out. They're quite good, but it just means you're not stuck. If you've got those valves, you've got everything covered. The next thing that I've taken away from that, if you are replacing that with a spare, they're probably going to come as a Presta head anyway. And so for me, you can still use all of those products when you're out on the road because you'll just have a normal Presta head. If you are running tubeless and need a bit more air and you've managed to say plug your puncture, then I'll probably recommend the electric mini pump, it seems to me. Okay, so far, I've actually used these for 2 weeks on my time trial bike so far. And I've absolutely been loving them. They are so much easier and so much faster you don't have to unthread, you just pop it on, pop it off, you're ready to go. It seems like a small thing, but when you add that time up over time, the numbers start to grow bigger and bigger. And in fact, pause there. Let me put it this way. Anything that makes it easier and faster to pump up your tyre before every single ride is a good thing in my book. It just saves you a smidge of time, saves you a smidge of faff. It seems like such a small thing, but I really like the small things that just make your life a little bit more convenient. Not only that, if you're running a time trial bike or if you're going for a faster ride, something as simple as getting your tyre pressure correct can save you anywhere in the realm of like 2 to 5 watts. The numbers can be quite large sometimes if your tyre pressure is wrong. You can use the tyre pressure calculator from Silka down below. I always use theirs, it's pretty good to find your optimal tyre pressure, and then I'd normally run about 3 or 4 psi below because we live here in the UK and the surfaces are terrible. Are there any issues with the system? Now, as the system itself, the Clik valve itself, honestly, I think it's fantastic. It seems pretty bulletproof to me. It's so easy just to chop and change from your normal stuff. But there is just one thing that I think the guys might have a small issue with, and that is adoption. Now, one thing that is great for the sport of cycling is standardization. For example, tires and wheels. Having a 700C size makes it so much easier for companies to produce faster, lighter, tubeless tires, and it makes it cheaper for us consumers, just because there's only one thing. You could also say the same for bottles and bottle cages. Bottles in cycling are a standard size, which means you can just buy any bottle and use it. Now, I know certain companies like Cannondale or Trek are trying to buck that trend a little bit, but I think I've got the point across there. Now, with that being said, again, they have made it very, very easy for you to just chop and change that out. And if you buy the whole tubeless kit, I think is a perfect straight swap. And once you've got it swapped, I don't think there's much going back. At the end of the day, I don't think this is a very expensive product. I think it's quite cheap for what it is. Coming toward the end of the video, I think I should mention long-term durability of these things. Like I said, I've only had them for 2 weeks now. I would like to make a video maybe 6 months, maybe a year's time, and just say, are they still doing good? They feel robust, they feel really solid, so I don't think it's going to be a problem, but yes, time will tell. Now, Schwalbe, the tyre and inner tube company, they're going to be stocking these as standard on their inner tubes. I think maybe even in February. In the UK, it's going to take a little bit longer to come, and I think that includes Europe as well. But in places like the US, maybe Australia, I think they're going to be starting to roll out this technology really quickly into their ecosystem. So expect to start seeing more of it. Well, like I said, guys, that is a product there that just makes life that little bit easier, and the small things that make life a little bit better, I really enjoy them. I know some of you might not want to adopt it straight away, but if they can kind of invade and overtake this as the standard, it's something that I would honestly really like to see. If there are some things that I've missed out here, do feel free to contact me in the comments below. I reply to pretty much everything. Or you can find me over here on Instagram if you want to message me privately. But apart from that, I've been Jason. This has been Cycling Unboxed. See you in another video.